team at Harbor East Marina. So we're going to just start off with your uniform. On your first day when you arrive, we'll give you a polo, a pair of shorts, and then once you come, you'll also get a belt. What you also need to bring is you need to bring a pair of tennis shoes, and then also you want a pair of socks that are the low socks. We don't want you wearing long socks like I'm wearing right now. We're just wearing long socks because we're wearing pants right at the time of year. Also, we want you to be wearing tennis shoes. A lot of people want to wear something like Dot shoe, like a Sperry, but it has no stability for your foot and your feet will get really beat up. So I suggest wearing something like an Adidas pair of running tennis shoes, and they will keep your feet nice and warm and comfortable. I also suggest insoles. The insoles on your feet keep your feet good. We walk miles every day and your feet really get beat up if you don't have a good pair of tennis shoes. On a bright summery day like today, when we head out to the docks, there are 3 things we need to remember. 1, sunscreen. 2, sunglasses. And 3, a radio so we can keep in contact with the staff when we're out on the docks. So let's just talk about the radios for a second before we give you your own radio and you're out on your own on the docks. When we're talking on the radio, there are a couple of really important things. First, every staff member when they're on the docks has a radio. So if you're trying to say something to another staff member, just realize that other guests could also hear what you're saying on the radio. Second of all, when we're talking on the radio, we want to be short and precise because if some emergency happens, we need to be able to use the radio for that. So on that point, if you need to have long conversations with, for instance, Andy about some problem at the marina, tell Andy on the radio that you're going to give him a call and then call him on your phone so we don't block the radio up for long periods of time. Before we head out to the docks, I just want to talk about a couple of safety things on the docks so that we don't have any problems when we walk on out. The first thing is, docks are not just like streets. If you lose your step, you could easily go swimming in the water. So when you first get used to the docks, always watch where you're walking because if not, you could walk right off the side and then you're going swimming. And in the inner harbor, it's definitely a place we don't want anyone going in. On that note, if a client wants to go swimming, tell them the water's not safe to do so. Now on that note, most of our slips, we have singular slips, so there's 1 boat per hole to go in. We have a thing called a cleat on every slip. There are 4 of them that we tie down the lines with. One thing you gotta be careful about is the bottom of the cleat, there's a hole on either side to tie the lines, which we'll show you later on in this video. But watch where your feet go. It's a very easy thing to stub your toe and or get caught on and then fall in. On that note, there are a couple other safety figures on our dock. First of all, we have 4 cleats, which are each a problem. We have a piling on the end of each dock row. And then also, every 5 slips, we have a big yellow boxed out area, which has got a life ring, a safety box, and a power cutoff switch. Every power cutoff switch we'll teach you about later when you show up here, is only for the staff to touch, but if anything ever happens, then we can cut off the power and help whoever we need. On that point, anytime a life ring gets dislodged at all, there will be a big beeping sound that goes around the whole marina. So if you hear one, it's probably just a life ring going off. On that note, let's move to the boat and we'll talk more about how we dock a boat. There's just a couple more terminologies we need to go over before we go on the dock so you understand some of the things we're talking about. To start off with, there's a port and starboard side of the boat. Port is on your left-hand side, and so port's 4 letters, left's 4 letters, that's how we think about it. And then on your right-hand side, there's starboard. So you have your port and starboard side. We never say the left or the right side of the boat. We always say the port side of the vessel or the starboard side of the vessel. Then moving forward, you have the bow and the stern of the boat. The bow is the forward edge of the boat, which is the pointy end of most vessels, and then we have the stern, which is the back of the boat. So these are the 4 sides of the boat we really need to go over so you guys understand when we go out to the dock. Moving on to that, there's 3 main ways that boats are docked at the marina. There's port to, starboard to, and straight on. Port to means the port side of the vessel is going to be up against the dock so it's easy to get off. Starboard to means the starboard side or the right side of the vessels can be against the dock, and then there's straight on. Straight on we usually do when the vessel is either over 100 feet in length and or there's supposed to be a lot of wind or storms going in. This gives the ability to have the boat not bounce against the dock at all. So we start with an untied cleat. This is a cleat. We go from the far side of the boat, around the cleat, down the one end, around,
over the top, then we go down and around again, over the top, and then we have to lock. We grab it with our hands, we twist it to make a loop like this, and then we put it over the top and pull tight. Once you pull tight, if you wrap it around the other side of the cleat one more time and pull, it will fully lock it in place. Go. Twist over, then you put the loop through, which creates a loop, then you bend the end of the line, put it through, pull it tight, and then you bend the loop again, pull it through and make it tight, and we consistently do that until the end. Then you have these two parts to the locking. This loop goes around the bite and through the loop, and you pull tight, and that locks it close, and then when you want to undo it, you just have to flip it off, and then it'll pull out. Sometimes you might get past a bumper. So when you first put it down, you want it to be right halfway down the middle of the dock, so when the boat comes in between, it'll get pushed up and keep the boat off the dock. Then we take the line and we go to the stanchion, or sometimes it's a metal rail. We pull it taut here, put one hand here to hold all the pressure so the bumper stays in place. We go one wrap around, one more wrap around, then we go, this is the hardest part, you go across the loop, and now I let go of this left hand, I grab with the bottom, and see I've made a loop, right? I go up and through, and I pull it taut, and then it will lock it in place.